Hi, I'm Jim Rowland, Managing Partner of Quality Electric Service, and you are watching South Jersey Business with Joe Molyneux.
Welcome to South Jersey Business with Joe Molyneux. Thank you for joining us as we share information, tips, and techniques that can make our business community and your business more successful. Thank you to Stockton University for the opportunity to produce this show focusing on business in South Jersey. On today's program, we will talk with Jim Rowland, Managing Partner of Quality Electric Service located in Woodbine, New Jersey. Jim will share portions of his story of building his business over the past 25 years, as well as his entrepreneurial journey. I have known Jim for a few years and have watched him build, grow, and market a business and a brand that serves the regional population with quality service and a smile. Jim believes in the power of generating new business through building relationships and working together. He also supports the community and helps to create a stronger business community while still focusing on growing his business. Stay tuned for our conversation with Jim Rowland, Managing Partner of Quality Electric Service, as we learn about some of the tools for powering business while generating some solid business talk and more on South Jersey Business with Joe Molyneux. Welcome back to Business. Thanks for joining South Jersey Business with me, Joe Molyneux. Please welcome our guest, Jim Rowland, Managing Partner of Quality Electric Service with headquarters located in Woodbine, New Jersey. Jim, thanks for joining us on the show.
Glad to be here, Joe. Thank you.
So you've owned and operated the business. You're the managing partner for over 25 years. I think 1992 was when you started. Can you give us just a little background and tell us what you did before you opened your own business that led to opening your business?
Sure. I had been in management positions with a couple of large regional firms here in South Jersey, and then went on to be the president of Keystone Electrical Services. We were acquired by a company in New York City, and after commuting to New York for many months, decided it was time to come home.
Well, that's great. That's a good reason, a good motivation to start the business. Speaking of when you started the business, you named it Quality. You put quality in the name, which is a high bar, but what went into naming the business Quality Electric Service?
There was two things. Number one, we wanted to set our customers' expectations at a high level. Number two, most small contractors have a tendency to name their business after themselves or after the street that they live on or something like that. We wanted to give the business a name that would lend itself to having a value to future generations of owners.
That's great. That's a good idea to do that early on, and you set the bar high, and you're living up to it. 25 years is a long time to own a business and to be a managing partner and to operate the business. And I know you're hands-on. Looking back, it's a little easier to answer this question, but early on, was there some challenges that you faced that could have meant the difference between failure and success? Anything that comes to mind?
Nothing really, no one thing in particular.
Okay.
I think what has been a defining strategy, if you will, is when things get tough, be like a fighter. Lean in.
That's great advice. I'm loving every one of these answers, Jim. You're really doing a great job. I know you, and we talked about having mentors and things like that, and I watch how you operate. And I think something that I've watched you do is educate your customer through almost every facet of your business. How important is an educated customer when it comes to not only the service you provide, but the products you provide? How important is that to your process, to your business model?
It's critical because our target customer is a homeowner or a business owner who is looking to make an investment. And one of the things that I've learned is that contractors in the home improvement industry, unfortunately because of a very few people, the industry itself has gotten a very poor reputation. And the three things that or the three biggest fears that most homeowners have when dealing with any home improvement contractor is, number one, I'm not going to get what I want. Number two, I'm not going to get it when I want it done. And number three, I'm going to pay too much. And if we can overcome those fears and build trust with the customer, then we know that we're going to have a customer for life.
That's a great model to follow, and clearly you're doing it because you do have customers for life. Quick question. The industry is always changing. Every industry changes, and yours is no different. The technology within the industry changes. How do you, as the managing partner, keep up with the technological changes?
Well, it's impossible for any one person to do because it just changes so quickly, like you said. I learned from a mentor a long time ago. I surround myself with people that are younger than me, more energetic than me, and smarter than me, and I just listen to them.
Jim, that was a great first segment. I want you to sit tight because there's plenty of more talk to come up, okay?
Sure.
We'll be right back with more business talk with Jim Rowland, managing partner of Quality Electric Services with headquarters located in Woodbine, New Jersey. And we're back with Jim Rowland, managing partner of Quality Electric Service. Jim, how do you define success?
We define success as meeting and exceeding the customer's expectation at a reasonable price.
It's pretty good. Sounds like a mission statement. I like that. It's really good. Speaking of success, not long ago you opened a new location in Woodbine. Can you tell me what went into the decision to not only purchase but relocate your headquarters to a larger space?
Sure. That's pretty easy. The growth in our generator business year over year, starting in 2011, was 25 to 30%.
Wow.
We are a distributor for Generac generators, and we simply needed more space. We spent about 2 years looking for an adequate facility, and we ended up purchasing a property that had formerly been a Chevrolet dealer.
Plenty of space.
You would think so, but it's getting tight already.
I've had the privilege of meeting some of your employees. They're a very dynamic group of individuals, and I'm going to ask you, how do you continue to, and actually do it, and then continue to find such quality people in an industry that sometimes isn't easy to find quality, hardworking people? How do you do that?
It's never easy. I learned in business school that when you are evaluating any employee in any business, in any industry, there's two key criteria to be focused upon: attitude and aptitude. If you have the aptitude to learn something, we can teach you. If you don't have a people-oriented attitude, no matter what your skill set is, we can't use you.
It's good advice. It really is. It's what you're saying makes so much sense for the people that are running businesses now and looking to start a business. These are all good words of wisdom. So, 25 years in business, what is one of the most valuable business lessons you've learned over that period of time? If you could pick one.
If I had to pick one, it's the value of turning a customer who is not satisfied into a satisfied customer, because that customer will not only be one of your best customers for life, they're going to give you a never-ending stream of referrals.
You mentioned the sales and the increase in the generator business. What do you attribute those increased sales to?
Primarily, the baby boomers aging.
Really?
Yeah, we know that for home standby generators, 80% of the sales nationwide, and where we are, because we have an older population base anyway, but nationwide, 80% of the people who are buying generators are over 55 years old. They're married. They own their own home. The home has a value of $200,000 or more, and the family has an income of $75,000 or more.
Wow.
And I mean, this is just a staggering concept to wrap your head around. It started 4 years ago when the baby boomers began to hit retirement age. But every day for the next 17 years, on average in the United States, 10,000 people are going to celebrate their 65th birthday.
Wow. That's great to share that statistic and also make it a motivator for your business increasing. So I want to thank you for defining success for us. We got still a lot of talk to go, so don't go anywhere. But thanks again, Jim, for being with us today.
Oh, glad to be here, Joe. Thank you.
That was Jim Rowland, managing partner of Quality Electric Service located in Woodbine, New Jersey. We'll be right back with more South Jersey business. As you are aware, management, marketing, money, and media are the essential parts of any business. And when you are powering up homes and companies as well as generating business as the managing partner of your own electrical contracting company, you need to know how to mix up all 4 M's. So it's time for the M4 Big Money question. All right, Jim, let's break them down. Let's start with your management and management style. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I am a firm believer in delegating. That is my management style. The 5 critical components to managing at any level are organizing, planning, staffing, controlling, and initiating.
Wow, that's great. So you have an answer for that. It's perfect. That's a great answer. Next, we come up to marketing, more the traditional forms. How do you market? Because you not only have the electrical business, but you also have the generator business. So what sort of traditional forms of marketing do you use?
We are using, in terms of traditional forms of marketing, direct contact with customers and prospective customers, but much more so now using internet, to the point where, I mean, I'm an old guy. I don't understand this stuff. We hired somebody who works full-time, whose title is Marketing and Internet Director.
Perfect. So let's get to the 3rd M. Sometimes you don't always want to talk about this, but let's talk about the money. How important is the cash flow and the money to the businesses that you operate?
Well, anybody who tells you that money isn't important doesn't stay in business very long. But cash flow is something that we constantly monitor on a week-by-week basis. Like Vince Lombardi once said, okay, winning isn't the only thing, winning is everything. Money is something that is, if you get emotional about money, you're making a mistake. But money is a way of keeping score.
There you go. You mentioned internet and some of the web stuff that you're doing earlier under marketing, but let's get to media for a second. I've noticed the media seems to enjoy your story. You have a really good story, and whether it's an article in the paper or a radio spot or whatever it might be, you've done commercials. How important is that PR and media piece to telling your story to the public?
Oh, it's critical. Consumer awareness and branding, I believe, is what separates any successful service business from our competitors. It's nobody picks up the newspaper to find a service provider. They go looking for a specific service provider when they need the service.
Well, everything you seem to be doing, Jim, with the M4 Big Money Mix seems to be working. So I want to thank you for sharing your M4 Big Money answers to the question today.
Thank you, Joe.
There you have it. Managing partner of Quality Electric Services, Jim Rowland's electrifying mix of success in management, marketing, money, and media. Welcome back. On today's business drill, we will stick with one of today's themes. Here are a few lessons we can learn from the electric power generator industry. So let's turn the switch on for generating new business. Today's guest reminded me that to be successful in the generator business or any business, you need to consistently generate new business. Here are a few tips and strategies. Right size your power source. Generators come in all shapes and sizes. There are some usage analysis reports available that can assist you in determining the right size generator for you. Analyze your new business generation needs, and then choose the people and things that can power you forward and make the most sense to you and your business. Fuel the generator. All power sources require some sort of energy to power them. Even solar power requires harnessing the sun's energy. In most cases, your new business generator is powered by you, the people you surround yourself with, and different levels and forms of motivation. Noise may be an issue. When some people think of generators, they think of old school, loud, noisy machines. The truth is, many of today's generators have very low noise levels. But this does remind us that when attempting to generate new business, you may need to balance the power of your message with an appropriate volume. Conserve energy. Just because you have the ability to generate a great deal of power does not necessarily mean you need to use all that power. Conserving both the energy produced and even the energy used to produce the new energy is a good thing. The same holds true for new business. Work hard to create new opportunities, but also conserve some of that energy to service that new business. So let's take a moment to review today's drill. Number 1, right size your energy source. Number 2, fuel the generator. Number 3, noise may be an issue. And number 4, conserve energy. So there you have it. 4 quick tips, strategies, and some things to consider when generating new business inspired by the business of generators to help you create a well-connected and well-powered entity for this week's business drill. Having a good community conscience is an important part of building solid business relationships in the region where your customers, friends, and families live. Making a real difference through giving can be part of making a living in business. Here's how this week's guest gets involved to make our communities and region stronger. Jim, we meet so many great businesses out there that are helping their community every day. The story of you and your business is no different, but it's interesting because you actually started your volunteer service supporting the military. Is that correct?
Yes, specifically the children of Marines through the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. It's a national organization, and I've met some absolutely phenomenal people. And reviewing the scholarship applications, the stories that their children tell of why they need money to pursue their education, it's just a staggering experience.
That's awesome. That's great work, and I'm sure you're still involved, clearly, because the way you talk about it, it's very passionate, and that's great. Then you spent some time, and you had some opportunity to work a little bit more on the municipal level. You were doing some planning in a community down in Cape May County. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I was asked by the freeholder director at the time if I would be willing to serve on the county planning board executive committee, not the paid staff.
Right.
Policy setting rather than executing.
Yeah, that's good. Well, that's a good way to connect with businesses, which leads me to my next, your next venture, and you got involved in the Greater Wildwood Chamber. And what was your role there?
Started out as a volunteer when the chamber purchased their building that has since been their office building, helping to do the construction work there. And as I got more and more involved, I've ended up being selected to be the president of the Greater Wildwood Chamber of Commerce.
They have a nice chamber down there. They really do. It's a very active chamber, and I'm glad to hear you were part of it. I guess the last question that I would have for you is your industry seems to be very supportive of the industry itself, and you seem like a guy that supports the industry. So you do have a role, or you do have a role as an industry-affiliated association. What do you do in that role?
I don't work as an electrical inspector, but I am licensed by the state of New Jersey as an electrical inspector, besides being a licensed contractor. I got involved several years ago with the local Inspectors Association, and for the past 6 years I've served on the executive committee as the secretary of the South Jersey Electrical Inspectors Association.
That's great. And I have one final question. How important have these community connections been to you personally, as well as to the business? But how important has it been to you personally?
I can't come up with a word to answer that question, Joe. All I can tell you is I believe that God has given each of us talents, and that we have a responsibility to share those talents. And that's what I try to do every day.
You came up with a really good answer to that question, by the way. And I want to thank you for sharing.
Well, thank you.
That was Jim Rowland, Managing Partner of Quality Electric Service with headquarters located in Woodbine, New Jersey. We'll be right back with more South Jersey Business. Susan, can you talk a little bit more about the business and what you do at Swasian Communications Group?
Sure. Well, Swasian is a full-service communications agency, a boutique agency, and we specialize in marketing, branding, public relations, social media, websites. So again, full service. We do it all from a full-service campaign to a project, a brochure, a website.
And you do it in a geographic region greater than the state of New Jersey, correct?
Yes, indeed. Well, we have two offices now, one in Somers Point, one in Haddonfield, but we service the whole East Coast.
Now, I don't want you to get into the secret sauce or anything, but how do you manage to run such a successful business now with two locations? You're one person.
Well, I don't do it myself. I have great people who are on my team who I definitely think the world of, and they're great communicators, and they're just as passionate about the business as I am. I think that's really important, and we try to get people that, when we're hiring them, that show that level of energy and enthusiasm, and that are dedicated to serving clients.
How do you maintain that level of service and commitment? That's always the tough part, right? How do you keep everybody with that exceptional service, customer service? How do you keep them all up and engaged?
Well, I think the clients really help with that, believe it or not, because we have awesome clients who are also upbeat and they get it. So when you have that combination, I mean, there's collaboration that goes on pretty much every day with a variety of our clients, and they tell us what their needs are, they tell us where they want to be, and we make it happen. So it's that constant communication and collaboration that definitely keeps the energy going.
Now, when you form your team, do you look for well-rounded individuals that can do a little bit of everything, or do you sometimes go on the try to find the people that are specific to a certain need that you have in the business and bring them on board to do a certain job?
All the above, but the number one thing that I look for is an awesome, upbeat attitude. I mean, if you don't, you can't teach that. I mean, you either have that or you don't. So a type A or a type AAA would be ideal, especially in the marketing field. So you're looking for people who are enthusiastic, energetic, who get the 24/7 nature of the business, and that are idea people that are going to keep coming up with ideas and just be really enthusiastic every day when they come into work.
It's a really exciting tone to set in your business. This might be a harder question to answer, but we're going to get to the why. Why do you do what you do?
I just couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. It's as simple as that. I love marketing. I love PR. I love social media. I mean, I literally love every single thing that I do. And I love it so much that I even teach it. So I just can't get enough of it. I never get sick of it. It's always changing every single day. So just keeping up with it is exciting. So I do it because I love what I do.
Most successful people that I talk to are not only teachers, but they're also students every day, and it sounds like you've struck a pretty good balance of those two things. How rewarding is that to be able to teach and also be the student?
Well, I really do. I'm very grateful for the position that I'm in, but it's funny, before I bought the business, I was heading in my career toward being a college professor, and then I had this opportunity to buy the agency, and now I'm doing both anyway. So it all worked out in the end. So I'm able to practice what I love all day in my business, and then teach it at night. So it's really the best of both worlds.
I was going to say that's a recipe for success. I want to thank you for being part of the Business Spotlight.
Great to be here, Joe. Thanks.
Thanks. That was Susan Adelizy Schmidt, president of Suasian Communications Group. We'll be right back with more South Jersey Business. The crew here at South Jersey Business appreciates those of you that tune into the show each week. From time to time, we receive questions from our viewers, and we always do our best to respond to your inquiries. So it's time for Q&A. And here's this week's question. Dear South Jersey Business, I'm trying to secure a loan to improve my store in a very old building. It is difficult to figure out the true cost based on the age of what we are dealing with, even with contractor estimates. I don't want to ask for too much, or worst case, too little money from the lender. What do you think? That is a pretty reasonable question. Unfortunately, you did not mention what type of loan you are seeking. Many loans, banks, and/or lending programs have rules and regulations to consider how much money to loan out based on many factors. I believe your best course of action is to be totally upfront about your concern. If possible, even have the lender or program representative visit your building and space that you're going to have renovated so they completely understand your concerns. Remember, the banker or the lender wants to make sure that the money you borrow is spent on what you said it will be spent on. They also know that without a completed project resulting in a usable commercial space, they run the risk of you having a tough time paying back the money you borrowed. One option is the lender or bank could approve you for an offer to loan you a certain percentage of money over what you estimated as a contingency in case costs to be renovated become greater than what you expected. If you need that money, then the exercise was needed. If not, then the unused funds could be returned to the lender or bank and not included in the total amount of your loan payback. Check with your lender and see if that is an option. And happy renovating. I hope that helps answer your question. We'll be right back. Well, that's the show. We had an informative discussion with Jim Rowland, managing partner of Quality Electric Service, headquartered in Woodbine, New Jersey. We discussed a few ways how local business helps the community, and we made a connection. We answered a question and even learned a few ways to generate new business inspired by the business of generators during our business drill. Once again, thank you to Stockton University and everyone that makes this program possible. Let's do it again next week. And until then, let's get growing, South Jersey. Thanks for watching.